Hi everyone, it is time for a weekly forecast. Let's smudge. We're going to use messages from the Mermaids card. Open our circle. Shuffle. The energy of the week is inner knowing. This is the moment to trust your inner knowing. The stage of doubting is over and it's time to believe in yourself. This mermaid has the look of inner knowing, and she's swimming into your reading today to affirm that you have access to this inner knowing too. It's about believing in yourself and trusting your intuition, which is a powerful tool in life. When you believe in this inner knowing, you'll see stagnant areas of your life begin to flow again as you trust your ability to know things. Are you always doubting your intuition? Perhaps you're in denial about something that deep down you know to be true. Allow yourself the freedom to trust this innate instinct, also known as your gut feeling. Act on your inner knowing is the correct course of action. Sometimes it might not make sense on a rational level, yet deep down, at the core of your being, you know that you're correct. This isn't arrogance, it's having confidence in your ability to trust in yourself. When this card appears in a reading, it means that you already know what to do. Perhaps you feel fear or trepidation to act on this instinct. The more you learn to trust this aspect of yourself, the easier following your inner guidance will become. There could be someone around you who is trying to convince you to doubt your own instincts. If this is the case, always remember to tune in before following the advice of anyone else. What's right for one person might not be right for another. Different strokes for different folks. There we have it, inner knowing. I like this card because it is telling us to tune inwards and to really listen to ourselves. One thing that I'm doing this week is a water fast. So I've got my big water bottle and my plan is to do an extended fast. So I want to do at least 3 days. My ultimate goal is 5. Having said that, I need to trust my inner knowing and trust my body enough to know when to break the fast. If it's not working for me and my body's telling me it's time to eat, well, then I'm going to need to eat. And to really be proud of myself, no matter how far along this week that I make it. What else do we need to know this week? Go with the flow. It says, let go and go with the flow. You'll get where you need to be when you surrender and trust in the natural flow of life. This mermaid wants you to know that life can be more fun when you go with the flow. She's allowing herself to be carried along by the currents of the sea. She has total trust in the ocean to take her to wherever her destiny may lead. When we push against the flow, it can feel very tiring. This card tells us to simply surrender to the flow of life. It's about trusting in your destiny and knowing that everything happens at exactly the right time. So try to release any attachment to a particular outcome and allow life to take you in the right direction. Going with the flow means you spend less energy forcing things to happen. When we fully trust in our destiny, we know on a deeper level what is meant for us won't pass us by. Is there a situation in your life in which things aren't going as smoothly as you wish? If not yourself, then perhaps someone close to you is experiencing an uphill struggle where every move they make has the opposite effect where every move they make has the opposite effect of what they wish to happen. If this rings true, then this card serves as a reminder, telling you to surrender to the flow of life and allow all the pieces to float perfectly into place without any struggle or force. Whatever your query, the answer is simply to go with the flow. This doesn't mean that you're giving up or you're defeated. Rather, your lack of resistance will bring you a sense of freedom and completion. So these two cards work really, really well together. Your inner knowing, so knowing what you are meant to do and knowing what direction to go with. And as you're going into that direction, really surrendering that outcome and going with the flow. It's hard to describe it any other way than to take the path of least resistance. However, taking the path of least resistance doesn't mean that you are being complacent. The path of least resistance, it still has to ring true for you. With these two cards, a good example would be your diet. I'm sure a few of you have probably heard of intuitive eating. So you're using that inner knowing and knowing if you really kind of tune into yourself, you know what your body is craving and what nutrients it is lacking. And by really paying attention to those internal cues, whether you are hungry or not hungry, maybe thirsty, whatever it is, you're able to go with the flow and to eat, a wide variety of foods without overindulging and by supporting your body in the best way possible. Where is this all going? Positivity. Isn't that a great one? I'm like so stoked because I felt like the last few weeks I've been like kind of hammering down on people. And this week I think is really about empowerment and like, woohoo, finally we get some sunshine. So stay positive. A positive attitude can carry you through any situation. A positive mindset can literally change the future, allowing miracles to occur. This super positive mermaid is holding her arms outstretched as she calls to you to allow more positivity into your life. Practicing meditation and affirmations can be very, very helpful in changing your mindset into a positive one. Positivity and negativity are two sides of the same coin. Good to remember this if you are feeling in a negative state of mind, which sometimes happens in the human realm. All it takes is a different thought to flip the coin back to positivity. Someone in your circle could be needing your input of positivity right now. Shedding light on a tricky situation, literally, through your positive disposition can make a huge difference to others when they are in a negative space. Sharing your positivity is a beautiful thing if those around you aren't feeling so great. Being close to positive people is a bit like having your batteries charged, just by being in their presence. Are you in need of a positivity boost? If so, think of some things that lift your spirits, perhaps meditation, a meal with good friends, a walk by the ocean, and so on. It's a good idea to make a positivity checklist that you can use when you need a boost. This doesn't mean that you need to be positive all the time, as that would be almost impossible. Positivity. What do I want to say about positivity and where this is going? Doing what is right for you. So I know it mentions meditation. Meditation might be right for you and meditation might not be right for you. It really depends on the person. And sometimes just taking a nice walk is really, really great. Or just making like some small changes in your life really kind of helps to move you through. So story time, I will share. Last weekend, I went golfing with my family and I walked the front 9 and I carted the back 9. I just kind of swapped with my husband because we usually get one cart with the kids to, have all the clubs and everything so we can try and get through the 4.5 hours relatively painlessly. I was feeling after the end of the 9 holes, my heels were rubbing on my shoes and I was quite tired. Last week, I made it a point to try to walk for 30 minutes a day. So I ended up getting 4 walks in between Monday and Friday last week. And then this Sunday, we went golfing again as a family. And again, I started off walking. However, this time I was able to walk all 18. Yeah, my feet were tired at the end of the 18 and I did end up getting a blister on the bottom of one of my toes because of how my feet and how my toes were lying in my shoes. But that is positivity, just by my inner knowing and going with the flow and doing a little bit of activity. And when I say I did 30 minutes of walking, it wasn't speed walking. It was in really the opposite effect because I'm trying to change my gait and my posture. So I was actually walking very slowly and being very mindful about my body and my alignment as I am walking. Even just that little bit, even though it wasn't a far distance that I walked, really helped with the endurance and with my body and with the pain points. And so that's a super duper positive outcome. So taking my story, how can you bring that positivity into your life? Our action this week is communication. And so when I first saw this communication card and with how it relates, especially to the first 2 cards, the inner knowing and the going with the flow, is that communication that we have with ourselves. Seeing this positivity card, it's also again, that inner dialogue that we have with ourselves, is that inner dialogue positive? Is it really kind of critical and nitpicking? Are you celebrating even the smallest wins in your life? So this communication card, I know when I read the book, it's going to talk about communication with other people, which is important as well, because as you're making changes in your life, it's nice to keep others informed, especially those that are close to you. Keeping them informed about maybe some mindset shifts that you are having and the changes that you are trying to make. If you share those and you share those goals, then they can help you along with those goals. They will be mindful about not sabotaging your goals. My husband knows I'm making changes with my eating habits. He also knows I'm doing this water fast. He's not going to question me, or I really hope he doesn't, bring into the house, my most favorite foods this week to help support me through my goal this week. And it goes for anything else. Those that love you really want to be there to help support you as best as they can and to help lift you up. And if you are not getting that support or that accountability in your household itself, then it's time to reach out to your closest friends, or sometimes it's joining an online group, an online support system where they can really kind of help lift you up. Pick up your phone and make that call. There's something you need to communicate, and now's the right time to do it. You can see the mermaid communicating with a turtle. This shows that communication can take many forms. It's not only verbal, but it's also telepathic. Animals communicate using colors and frequencies. Perhaps you feel things were left unsaid in recent conversation. Sometimes we can get tongue-tied during an honest encounter and the words just won't flow. If this is the case, you can write a letter, an email, or a text. It's vital to articulate things that are important to you, and writing them down is a great way to do this. You can then choose to send the communication to the other person or not. You'll know what to do with it once you've expressed your feelings. Sometimes we don't have the opportunity to express the things we wish to because the other person has passed on. If this is the case, using the method of writing everything down can be very cathartic. It could be that someone wishes to communicate with you and you're not giving them the space to do so because you think you won't like what they have to say. If you have an active imagination, things can seem bad when the reality is often less harsh. When we communicate with love and compassion, we can experience miraculous breakthroughs. This mermaid is also saying you could be called to mediate between other people's communications to ensure both sides are heard, and it could be time to consider training to be a counselor. Or perhaps it would be beneficial for you to see one yourself and to get things off your chest. If I can be honest, sometimes when doing these readings, it's difficult. You want to be upbeat and positive and give a really great message and give a really good reading for the week so others know what to expect and that they're really going to put in the work to help improve their life. Being super positive all the time is difficult. Super difficult. I want to be real with you guys. And to be real with you guys, sometimes there needs to be truth bombs. So we know this inner knowing, we know this go with the flow, we know that's internal work. And unless you're willing to put in the work, you're not going to see the positivity outcomes that you are looking for. And unless you're really going to act on this communication card and have those difficult conversations, those enlightening conversations with yourself or with the others around you, you're just not going to get there. And so, yes, this week there is a lot of potential. There's a lot of positive potential in this week. You need to do the work in order to do that. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not. Because if I sugarcoat it and you just are going to go on with your week like you do every other week, except maybe you might be smiling more or try to get a little bit more sunshine, it's not going to work. You need to do the work. And you can go get readings, you can go get sessions or whatever it is, unless you are willing to work with that practitioner or work with the advice that has been given, you're not going to see that progression, and you're going to continue to go through those karmic cycles. If you want to break free from those karmic cycles, you really have to put your best foot forward. And it's okay to stumble. It's okay to stumble. It's okay to have setbacks. But don't go so far back that you're starting over again, right? 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and then 2 steps forward again. And it's through that practice and that repetition that things are going to become easier. So another thing that I'm doing this week, so since my 30-minute walking was really great last week, I'm going to continue with that 30 minutes of walking every day. And the other thing that I'm adding is some sauna time. So I have an infrared sauna at home. I haven't been really using it that much, but along with my sauna time, really making meditation that daily practice again. And I know that when you start to meditate, and depending on what style of meditation that you are doing, you understand that you're going to have thoughts and you're going to get pulled out of the meditation. And however, every day that you do that is going to become easier and easier. So don't just try to flip a switch and change your life and your lifestyle and your communication or what you're wearing and what you're dressing just to be another person. I can't remember. I think it was last week that we were talking, or something that I had read last week was about there's people that we look up to and mentors. So the goal of life isn't to turn into a carbon copy of our mentor. The goal in life is to be the best person you are meant to be, which is not somebody else, because you are unique. So you might hear some of the things that I'm trying to do or implement or experiment with, and you're either going to be, hey, that's kind of neat, but there's no way I'd ever do that. Or you might just be totally turned off, or you might be like, hey, that sounds kind of cool. I wonder if I can try to do that, and what changes will happen for me if I try to implement those things. Me trying to do a water fast for 5 days, part of it is seeing if I kind of have the willpower and the gumption to go through something like that. The other part of me that I'm really curious about is the spiritual implications. I'm wondering what changes are going to happen to me and happen to me in here and out here through doing something so disciplined. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week. Let's close up our circle and take care.